Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Amy Lensing-Tate. I'm the Executive Director at the UWM Alumni Association. Can you hear me? Okay, is that better? Thank you for letting me know. So welcome to our first mobile master chat, or not mobile. Welcome to our first, I'm so used to saying that, in-person master chat of the academic year. We have a really great one in store for you today. We have a lot of people joining us online as well, but happy to see you here in person in this beautiful space. Isn't the Lubar Entrepreneurship Center impressive? So thank you to them for hosting us. Today we'll hear from Dr. Marissa Jablonski. She is the Executive Director of the Freshwater Collaborative of Wisconsin, also a two-time alumna of UWM. And she's an accomplished water engineer, environmental advisor, educator, and an international plastic reductions expert who's worked in more than 46 countries. So we're so happy to have her here in Milwaukee and on our staff. She's a powerhouse. So her way of understanding and engaging complex interactions between human beings and environmental systems and her storytelling make her a much sought after consultant, and I'm sure you'll see why today. At the end, we'll have ample time for questions and some interaction with the audience, so save those up and we will definitely get them answered. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Marissa.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I hope so. Okay. All right. I would like to start by saying thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Today, we are going to talk about the environment and environmental impact that you as individuals have and how we can leverage that impact to be broad and impact the whole world. Where I'd like to start is by asking you a question and getting interaction. So I'm not actually sure, is there a way to get answers from online, maybe in the chat? I could ask people to chat. So I want you to imagine the world in 10 years as you would love it to be. 10 years from now, ideally, what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What do we have? How does society run? Ideal. If you need to go out 20, you can go out 20. It's okay. 20 years. I know it's starting from a rough spot. So come on, anybody. Reforested. So green forests. Big green forests. Great. Clean water. Okay, so no plastic unless necessary. Let's put that in place. So let's say flourishing animals. Uh-oh, we're getting my sloppy writing out. Here. Recreational fishing. Okay. Like healthy recreational fishing. Ah, there it is. No mercury poisoning. Fishing. Clean air. No climate change. Woo, that's a good one. Change. All electric cars. Ooh, all electric cars. Oh, electric cars. Are there any comments online?
There are. We have no PFAS.
Yes, no PFAS. No PFAS.
We also have high-speed trains.
High-speed trains. Love it. I assume that's in the U.S. We have really good high-speed trains all over Europe, right? So we're talking, that's great. Those are great. Any more?
We just got another one. Decarbonization feasible and affordable.
Okay, let's just put decarbonization. Decarbonization. I'm going to put / no coal, because that somebody just said no coal. My marker's not that great. Okay, what else? Yes? No pesticides and herbicides. So let's say organic There you go, organic production of food. Oh, thanks. Ooh, look at that nice one. No pesticides, herbicides. Okay. Wow. Yes.
Transportation, which increases bicycles.
Yes. Okay. Let's say transportation. I'm going to put arrow increases bicycles and mass transit. Reduces cars. Oh, yep, reduce cars. Great. Woo, sorry, that's okay. Anything else? Yes?
I'm going to say reinvesting in the cities.
Reinvesting in the cities. So getting people to accumulate in cities while we save natural areas outside of the cities. Yes?
Follow China's lead in reversing desertification.
Okay, I'm going to put reverse desertification. Reverse desert. Ooh, ification. I know I spelled that wrong. Okay. Educate the youth. How about just invest in education? Invest in education. Great. Yes? Population control. That one's tricky. There's a great link between population control and educating women. Full stop. So they're directly related. So I'll put population education. Let's do that. Is that okay? Because once we mandate things, they often skyrocket. But if we educate, they self-regulate in a lovely way. Yes? Ooh, or actual recycling. Right on. So, yeah. Great. Effective actual recycling. How are we doing? Anything else online?
I have belief in science.
Ooh. Believe in science, so just science. Yep, great.
And better public transportation system.
Yep, okay, we've got that. Mass transit, wonderful. Yes?
Major reduction in landfill use of garbage and so on.
Okay, so reduce waste reduction. And we could even say mining landfills. So that would reduce landfill piles. We could actually mine them for resources. They do this in many parts of the world. We haven't really started in the United States yet. So I'm going to put waste reduction and mining landfills. It's a dirty job, but there's, how much dirtier is it than mining for metals? Anything else? We have a beautiful world. Look at this. We have clean air, clean water, clean soil. We have waste management. We have education. People are cared for. They're being transported all over using bicycles, walking, running, in trains, mass transit, which is decreasing air pollution. We've got electric cars. We don't have chemicals. We've figured out a way to distract pests and things to eat other things rather than our food. We have recreation, we have fun, we're fishing, we're bicycling, we're playing sports, we're laughing. Wow, this is a world we all want to live in. I've traveled a lot in my life. I've given workshops on environmental policy and environmental protection a lot. Every single group comes up with the same list. We all want the same thing. Never have I ever met one human being who says, today I'm going to pollute. Never. So we're in this together. We're all doing our best. And I'm here to talk to you very specifically about environmental change from the individual, so all of you and everyone online, to leverage that impact, because it's my experience that only when I change myself can I influence my family and my neighborhood, my school, my job, I just said neighborhood, my city, my state, the country, and the world. It's what I believe. I believe we're all showing up. We're all doing our best. When we know more, we can do more. Sometimes our best isn't good enough. So hopefully we all leave with a little more perspective. So we're going to, and then we'll leave time at the end for some Q&A and hopefully good discussion. All right. So in 2017 to 2019, I moved out to Washington, D.C., where I served as an environmental advisor to the United States Agency for International Development. Before then, I had worked with Engineers Without Borders quite extensively, mostly in Guatemala, and I had done a lot of wastewater treatment in rural parts of India. So I was working already globally, and I really wanted to understand international development on a larger scale. So in case anyone knows USAID or is interested, I worked in the office of ASHA, American Schools and Hospitals Abroad, and Food for Peace. And I saw many things and went many, many places. And in 2018, I was sent on a very special assignment to Thailand with the U.S. Embassy of Thailand. They had a collaboration with the Phuket Hotels Association. So Phuket is an island off the coast of Thailand, and they have 65 hotels on this small island that were associated. So hence Phuket Hotels Association, the United States Embassy in Thailand, and they hired me to help them reduce plastics. Why? They were afraid of becoming like Bali. Bali, Indonesia, is a major resort location where people fly in from all over the world, and there is not one beach on Bali that you can swim on as a tourist without getting plastic bags wrapped around your legs, or worse, dirty diapers. And this is starting to happen at Phuket, and they were concerned for money's sake, the economy. They said, if we become like Bali, we won't have tourists, we won't have income, our 65 hotels, all of our staff, our local economy will tank. This is a problem. Please help us. So they brought me in as a scientist, and I had 2 months to prepare. Okay, so the first thing that popped into my mind is the story of Gandhi, which you've probably all heard. Mahatma Gandhi, a woman brings her son, travels 2 days by train, sits in front of Mahatma Gandhi and says, "Guruji, can you please tell my son to stop eating sugar?" Mahatma Gandhi looks at the boy, looks at the mother, looks at the boy, looks at the mother, says, "Come back in 2 weeks." Mother gets up, "Oh, I traveled 2 days to get here. Okay, and don't have a lot of money for this train. Okay." Brings her son home, waits about 10 days, gets back on that same train, sits down in front of Mahatma Gandhi, and he looks at the boy and he says, "Stop eating sugar." They get up, they're ready to leave, and the mother says, "Hang on 1 second." Runs over to Gandhi and says, "Guruji, can you tell me, why didn't you just tell me that 2 weeks ago?" And he said, "Oh, I had to give up sugar before I could tell you to give up sugar." Oh, I heard that over and over in my head. I had 2 weeks to prepare. I said, I'm about to be sent across the globe to tell 65 hotels, like miniature cities, to give up single-use plastic. And you look in my garbage can, and I've got frozen plastic, frozen food plastic bags. I've got bread bags. I've got all sorts of stuff. I better give up plastic. So if you know me at all, my favorite thing to do is grocery shop. So I happened to be in a grocery store. I was in Whole Foods at the time, and I really wanted berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and I was really keen on it. And I had just promised myself, I just made a pact with myself not to buy any more single-use plastic. And I looked at these berries and I realized I'm never going to use this plastic container again. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've made a vow. All right, we stick with the vow. And I felt really emotional. I wanted these berries like crazy, right? So I turn around, okay, mangoes are on sale, great. Oh, apples, bananas, oranges, all of these fruits that I could buy without any single-use plastic. Okay, we got through the shopping outing, right? And I started bit by bit creating these kits. So you'll see that in the front of this room, you can see these are my kits for living. So over here, where is it? Right here. I have a shopping kit, and each one of you was given two pieces of paper. So one of them says shopping kit. So every time I go to the store now, over months and months of preparation, I figure out I always bring my bags. And if we had more time, I'd tell you lots of stories about bags. My produce bags, which these are new. Mine are not clean. My goodness. And then all sorts of deli containers. So I bring jars, I bring stainless steel containers, I bring Tupperware, and you can tell this is not new things. So I realized I do use some plastics, but they're multiple use plastics, and they've usually been gifted to me. My sister used to sell Tupperware.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do they let you do that? Because they usually wait.
Yeah. So, yes, you need to take it to the customer service, get it tared, weighed. They'll mark it with a marker, or you can mark it with a marker, and then you can do your produce, you can do your deli things. Because of COVID, they might not let you do this. So then you might want to bring tin foil. Sometimes I bring tin foil, and I say, can you wrap my meat in this, or my whatever it is, fish in this? So that was my first change at the grocery store in my 2 months preparation. And then I came home and said, oh, now I have to think about the kitchen. Where am I going to put all of these groceries? And if you think about a hotel, they all have restaurants and bars, so they have to go food shopping too. And then they have to store things too. So when I came home, I store things in jars, or I leave them in the jars, store things in Tupperware, use beeswax wrap instead of saran wrap. The biggest thing I do, I don't use any paper. I know it's not plastic, but I don't use napkins and I don't use paper towel. I use towels, and then they become rags. And then I use them until they die, and we move on. They also make really, ingenious little covers and wraps. You can make those at home. Sponges, I use natural loofah sponges. And then I buy my dish detergent in bulk. And there's different stores around almost every city now that you can, like refill stations and things like that. So that was my next move. And then I started feeling really alone and weird. This is all in the 2 months in preparation. I'm like, how the heck am I going to go into these little cities and be the odd duck? What am I going to show up in a hemp outfit and just, hey, you should do this, right? It was really troubling. And so I called a friend of mine and said, will you help me get on social media? Like really get on social media? And he was like, yeah, what do you want? I said, I want to go to the grocery store with you, and I want you to take videos of me giving you advice. And if I can make you laugh, we're a success. So we started doing it. And I think here it is. So feel free to follow and share. I don't have that many followers, surprise, surprise, but it's a lot of me giving advice every day on what I do. And about 900 people follow me. I get a bunch of comments saying, what do you do for shampoo? Oh boy, well my dad owns a hair salon. I use plastic shampoo, or shampoo that comes in plastic bottles. Okay, guess I got my work cut out for me. My next move was the bathroom. So now I use a shampoo bar. And this is my actual shampoo bar, so it's not nice looking. I use pellet toothbrushes. I use silk floss. I made all these little tiny changes. And I found that I was starting to get more advice from people that were contacting me. And the tagline on all of my videos is Yay, Go Team. Because it started occurring to me, we're not alone. There's 7.5 billion of us. We share many oceans. I like to think about them like one ocean, because really, where's a border in an ocean? We share one planet, we share one air. We've found air pollution in the United States that's come from burning coal in China. We share one planet. This is what we got. We're in this together. So I started making all of these changes and realizing that I was having an impact even in, I changed myself, and then I found I was having an impact with my direct community. And all of a sudden, my workplace wasn't offering any styrofoam plates or even plastic forks, knives, spoons for somebody's birthday, and we were making waves, and it was working. So I flew, the last one is my to-go kit. So this, I call my monster bag, and everyone who knows me knows if we go out to eat together and we need to bring food home, I say, let me run to the car, I gotta grab my monster bag. It's a cloth bag that I bought on sale that has monsters on it. That's why I call it the monster bag. And what do I carry? I carry a to-go mug all the time, a fork, knife, spoon set. When I was at USAID, I was flying very regularly. They won't let metal knives on airplanes or forks, so I carry bamboo. The key is a napkin. Going plastic free is very messy. You need to be cleaning mostly your liquids up a lot, so those things come together. And then refillable containers. So a lot of these I've bought as I travel, but right now, I shouldn't plug, but they're really readily available. IKEA has really cheap ones right now. When I was doing this in 2018, that was not an option. This was not on anyone's radar, so I think, in 2018, this cost $25, and in 2022, this cost $9.99. Basically same container. So it's pretty interesting how that goes, and then I always carry a bag with me, because I'm probably gonna stop at a grocery store on the way home. So, it's just how I am. So, okay, so I had all this under my belt, and I arrived in Thailand, and the first thing that somebody said to me was, well, we want data. And I said, that's interesting. Well, we use 1 million plastic bottles every minute of every day and every night on planet Earth. And we use 1 million plastic bags of every day and every night on planet Earth. So there's some data. And she's like, well, what are you doing? I said, well, we're not changing. We know we use 1 million and nobody's changing. We need workshops. We need people. We need interaction. We need to grow a team. And she said, nobody wants to come to a workshop. This is the Phuket Hotels Association. They don't want to leave work. They don't want to take 3 hours out of their day plus transport. And I said, I'll give you a deal. I'll make a deal with you. Let's throw a workshop this coming Wednesday. If it's a flop, no one comes, everyone hates it, I'll give you your data and I'll get out of your hair in 2 months. I'll do these audits. I'll go to 45 hotels of the 65. We'll do this. If they love it, we throw a workshop every Wednesday afternoon, and I'll also give you your data. It's a win-win. She said, okay. So we threw that workshop. It was a huge hit. We had a Wednesday afternoon workshop every single Wednesday for the full 2 months, and this is what else we did. So I visited 45 of the 65 hotels and did baseline audits. I've seen a lot of fancy hotels. I've seen a lot of hotels, right? I can walk into, and this is my friends, I drive them crazy, but I walk into anywhere and I'm like, plastic, 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 plastic. I just see it now, right? And oh my gosh, a couple of my friends invited, they had a little barbecue at the beginning of summer. They invited me, and somebody else, this was so funny, I'm so sorry, it totally caught me by surprise. He came up and said, hey, Pete, did you do anything differently because Marissa was invited to the party? And he said, yeah, we didn't put out the paper towels. Normally we would have put a roll of paper towels, but because Marissa came, we put a bunch of towels. And it's going to work better than paper towels, so we're doing this from now on. It's like, win. So anyway, so we started with a baseline data audit. So I audited 45 hotels. Then we had a weekly workshop where we gathered together, we informed each other, we shared ideas. We shared best practices. So people, you all, me, we get in our own little world and we're doing the best we can, but we don't know what's out there. We're afraid to ask. We're afraid to do something wrong. We're afraid to hurt the earth. Of course we are. I am. I'm just loud. So I just say, I don't know how to switch this. Does anybody have any ideas? Because I'm really stuck on, plastic shampoo. And then somebody usually comes forward and says, oh, quietly and in my direct messages. They never do it commenting to everybody. So, for instance, in Thailand, they have returnable water bottles like we used to have with Coca-Cola in the United States. They still have that in much of Asia. And so we transferred a lot of plastic bottles to be returnables. And then in open locations, we got hotels to put out fancy water dispensers. So if you remember on the first slide, the whole reason that I got sent to Thailand was the environmental lead at the US Embassy said, why don't five-star hotels just put a water dispenser in the hallway? Or just put one in the lobby. As soon as you have a question that includes the word just, it's never that easy. I've learned that. So the answer is, it's not fancy enough. So they found a way to be fancy. They added lemon to it. And then the five-star signatory was able to say, great, you've passed. Then we engaged environmental champions. There was always at least one person at every single hotel that cares about the environment quite naturally. It was born that way. Looked around and said, oh, I don't like what we're doing here. And we engaged them and worked with them, made them a team. We're growing our team. And the last one is that team created an open source Excel spreadsheet on Google Excel or Google Pages with purchasing info. So when they switched from a plastic straw, in Thailand, the straw is a very big part of taking care of someone. When you're serving them a drink, the straw is an honor to give. And so to cut it out is not an option. So we needed to find an alternative. There was a really lousy paper straw manufacturer in Thailand when I was there. So it would last for exactly one sip and then it would crumble and so that didn't make it on this sheet, but the good company did, right? A bamboo manufacturer made it on this sheet and they were able to share and grow. And then of course there was one champion who said, I want to be in charge of it so that in case it ever gets deleted accidentally, I can take this over. That was a young person who was really, really passionate. And it worked. I was there for 2 months. They continued the work for 6 months, and they got rid of 6 million plastic units, and it's sustained. Now, remember the data I gave you. We use 1 million plastic bottles every minute. We got rid of 6 million plastic bottles, basically. 6 minutes worth of the world's usage we got done in 6 months. Egads. Not good enough. But it sure as heck is a start. So it's okay, right? The next steps, and what I'm working on now, not necessarily with the Phuket Hotels Administration, is waste management. So with all of this going on, I don't for a minute want to fool you, throw the wool over your eyes and say, oh, just make this change and it'll happen. No, it's that influential wave that matters. All of us know someone. If I knew someone and I was able to get Coca-Cola here listening, it might ripple and touch someone's heart in a way that Coca-Cola changes their ways. But until that happens, we've got to do the best we can to raise awareness. Human beings don't actually make change based on logic, right? We don't, or we'd have stopped using plastic a long time ago, considering all of the harm that it does to our bodies and the environment. We make it based on emotions. And plastic is perfect in many, many, many ways. It's super lightweight, so it's convenient. You can throw it in your bag and carry whatever you want, right? It hardly ever breaks, so you can drop it. Imagine dropping this. I've done it many times at UWM, filled with hot liquid. It's a big bang. You have to bring out, special people to sweep and take care, and it's not recyclable once it's broken. It's a mess. And plastic lasts forever. So you can depend on it. It's reliable. Companies can depend on it. It's reliable. And it's so perfect, it's so lightweight, that it sometimes blows off of trucks. Have you ever put a little wrapper in your car door and then you open your door and the wind blows and you're like, car, brah! And there goes the wrapper, 3 layers of plastic down the street, unless you can run fast enough. It also because it lasts forever, it doesn't biodegrade. If you Google this, they'll say 400 to 450 years. That's only how long it takes until you can't notice it. But that's it becoming micro and nanoplastics. It's a disaster. It doesn't go away. Does not go away. So to me, the next work, we have to stop the inflow of plastic, but then we also have to do something with what's there. We know that 9% of all plastics ever produced since the beginning of time have been recycled. 9%. So we designate something recycled when we put it in a recycle bin, but that's not the case, right? The case is we use the item, we put it in a recycle bin, the recycling truck comes, they transfer it into the truck, hopefully the wind doesn't blow and blow it somewhere. Then it goes to the recycling center, it gets cut up into nurdles, small little pieces. Then it gets bought by another company, hopefully. That is very, very, very rare because plastic is proprietary. So in the 1950s, it's kind of like trial and error. So a company, and name your company, wanted to manufacture a plastic. They said, well, what can work for us? And they created it. And then they said, oh, great, well, let's go see if it works, and shoved it out. And they don't have any regulation to take it back. In different countries in the world, they do. Like Germany is a good example. They'll take, they have some regulation that the companies need to take their waste back. So anyway, so waste management is on the forefront of my mind. I talk about it a lot. There's a lot of videos on my Instagram about waste management and how we can plug the holes. And it's really important. But the biggest thing is we need to change to a circular economy. So how do we do that? We can think about the item we buy or we are consuming from, any item, right? Okay, so where does it come from? This bamboo knife comes from a bamboo stalk, I don't know, a piece of grass named bamboo. And then I will use it multiple times, and then I will throw it in my compost pile, right? This is a little different. The glass comes probably from sand, and then I will use it, and then it will end up in a landfill or in a recycling center, one of those two. I'm not actually sure. You already see a gap. Well, why don't I know? Why don't we know exactly where our pieces of plastic go? So that's what I'm working on all the time in my head and hopefully externally too, to try to communicate with companies and with recycling centers to say, okay, how can we grow this knowledge and how can we talk about it? So obviously this example is if we want a can, I don't have a can here, but if we want a can, if it comes from recycled aluminum, then we use our can once and it becomes recycled aluminum again, it's a full circle, I'm okay with that. Most cans are made out of 60% post-consumer waste. Why not 100? I don't know. I think because we keep producing more, but I don't know. And who knows? Everyone I contact does not know, so this is frustrating, right? They're also lined in single-use plastic. But if we are mining for metal, using a can once, and then landfilling it, bad idea, obviously, right? So one of the ways that I'm working with groups to try to expand their knowledge is just answering these questions. So which materials are most eco-friendly? And it starts with multiple use. It requires water and different resources to make anything. So if you're making a single-use item, it requires all of that stuff, and then it also impacts the earth. If you're making a multiple-use item, you use those same resources, and then you use it for a really long time, hopefully forever. Can you imagine if these were heirlooms? Huh? Like in 50 years? I'm like, here you go, grandkids. Be hilarious. When she dies, you get her reusable kits. But yeah, so we've got multiple use, then we've got unprocessed material. That's bamboo. It's totally unprocessed. You just cut the bamboo, grind it a little bit, and you've got your straw. Then you've got processed renewables. That includes cans, for instance. Those are processed, or not cans, I'm sorry, like glass. So these are processed, but then totally renewable, right? You can recycle them and reuse them. Then you've got recyclable materials like cans. Then I just straight up call them toxic materials. So styrofoam's in there, for instance. Plastics are in there. So they're not toxic right now, but if they're single use and they're not going to renew, I just, I label it as it is. It's not everybody's favorite thing, but that's what it is. So what I've realized in all of this work is it's really about the people. And people are people are people are people. We all get up, we all use the bathroom, we all eat, we all need housing, we all do really similar things. And so I want to take the next 5 minutes and have you all think about this, walk around a little bit, just 5 minutes, I'll set an alarm, and make a commitment to make one change. I've got plastic-free kits, but I hope you know that you can do this with any environmental issue or concern that you're thinking about. So if you're trying to conserve water because we're running out of water, drinking water on planet Earth, running out of fresh water, let's say, we're lucky to be next to the Great Lakes, but there are many states and many countries on the planet that are suffering, so maybe you're trying to take shorter showers. So that's a thing that you can do. So I have the following questions. So what single-use plastic or what environmental change do you want to make today? And I put for the next year. Yep, because that's how I am. But maybe you just choose a month. That's the first question to answer. And the way that I analyze that is, well, what do I use all the time that's pretty unconscious? Well, if it's unconscious and you have to be here with a friend, you can say, what do I use all the time that's unconscious? Maybe you want to make your own sparkling water. Maybe you have dry cleaning bags. You want to buy a reusable one. Maybe you're committing to getting bulk raspberries or blueberries from a farmer rather than from the store. Maybe you're committing to only buying used clothing and finding really great resale shops rather than going to the mall. Maybe so these are environmental commitments. The second question that we're going to discuss right after you guys come back is how to change your daily routine around it. So it's obvious, so I'm going to pick on, but I don't mean to pick on you. But we have cups, and they're eco-friendly, right? So they're compostable, and I hope that they get composted. I don't know this for certain, but hopefully they do. But what would it take for you to bring a mug with you? Is that my dad? I love my dad so much. I've gotten him so many to-go kits, so many monster bags. And he doesn't bring it with him. Why? Because he doesn't carry a bag. Why? Because he was brought up not carrying a bag. Why? Probably because he was a little boy in the 1950s. Okay, right? So we're working on it, but it takes a lot longer. Maybe he also loves the warmth on his hand. I miss that like crazy. That's when I started using jars and dropping them, so that's not so great. But there's different ways. So that's what I mean. So we're going to take 5 minutes, walk around, think. I want to also show you all online that this is my website, marissajablonski.com, and I have a link that's called Plastic Free Every Day in the top right corner. And the little sheets of paper that everyone who came in person has is just in a different format online. So you can follow along and commit the same way. I did a keynote in Thailand a handful of years ago and made everyone commit, and I committed to face lotion in front of 600 people. And I had no idea how I was going to do it. It took me an entire year to find what do I use now? Carrot seed oil, because it's got SPF and it comes in a glass jar. And it's still not perfect because I buy refillable and it comes in a big plastic and then I refill my little jar. So it's still not perfect, but I find that making the commitment and really analyzing your life and breaking things down, it's at least fun and interesting and gives you something to strive for, and then we're on the team. So, okay, 5 minutes. We'll meet back at 39. Yes?
So all those items are awesome, but at some point they will start to degrade.
Sure.
So what do you do with a cloth napkin once you're like, it's stained, it's frayed, whatever, or
Yeah.
these items that start just degrading?
Yeah, so I I use them, I use a lot of rags in my house. So if people come over, I bring out the nice towels and the nice napkins. But if I'm by myself with my dog, you know, or my good friends or family, then we use holy, because like when I do dishes, I might put wet dishes out, or I might clean up the floor with one, and then eventually you can compost it. If it's cotton, you can compost it. But if it's a fancy towel and it's got some polyester in it, then you can't. Then it's landfill. Yeah. I don't want to interrupt this, but landfills are okay. They're not optimal, right? But they're okay. They're better than the alternative, which is dumping garbage wherever we want it to go, which happens in most developing countries. And so it's not the end of the world. We just want to reduce a ton of what goes in there. Okay. Timer's going.
Very quickly, what's the carrot and oil? What's that for?
Carrot seed oil, face lotion, so it's got SPF. Yeah.
Where do you get that?
I get it online. Here it is.
Everything's online.
Everything's online. That's what I use. Face lotion.
Just as it, just as
That's
it. Nothing else?
Yeah.
Okay. No lotion with it or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure if it's right or good, but that's what I use. And it's my actual stuff, so it's... Oh, it's totally fine. Yeah, come on around. And I'm going to turn off my microphone. But Okay, we're back. So, I would love to hear your commitments and how you're going to fit it into your life and any major stuck points. Stuck points are the best because we can solve them together because we're a big team. Yeah.
There's no reason why I couldn't take the tote bags to the grocery store.
Right.
I have a lot of them. I don't
Yes.
know why I don't do it.
There you go. You know what got me to do it? So many years ago, I went to the grocery store with my partner, and I forgot the bags in the car. And I looked at him and I said, well, now we carry this all by hand. And he looked at me and he said, no, we have like 12 things. I said, 6 and 6, we're good. We can do it, but we have to do it. And he said, this is embarrassing. I said, that means we're never gonna forget our bags again. And so just push yourself a couple times and you're not gonna forget them again.
And the other thing, we often go to a restaurant, we take the toast home.
Sure,
So now I just bring a container.
There you go.
I'm taking the styrofoam every time.
there you go. Yeah, perfect.
We're gonna do it.
Yes, you know you're gonna, yes, if you know you're gonna do something, you're predictable. We are predictable human beings. It's true. There you go. Great, super. Anything else? Anything online too? We might have lost people. Yeah. Okay, you can also make them if you sew. But yeah, these shower cap lids, so instead of saran wrap, there's one thing that this is so funny. When my dad makes salmon, he gets a big, sockeye salmon, and then he covers it with his special sauce and then puts a big piece of saran wrap. And he looked at me and said, well, now I shouldn't be doing this. And my mom was there and I said, well, why do you need the saran wrap? He said, it keeps in the stuff. And I said, okay, well, is there anything we can do? And I said, can't we use a reusable glass container? He said, but then salmon won't fit. And my mom walks by and said, cut the salmon in half, right? So now they cut the salmon in half. Yeah, so there are tiny little changes, but we need to figure it out together, otherwise we really get stuck. Who else? Yeah.
What do you do when you live with people who
Oh,
flatly refuse?
yeah.
Because I need it.
Right.
Plastic bags. I need Charmin toilet paper. I need.
Right. Okay, so I would, this is great. So first of all, I'm not an expert in that, right? But what I do slowly is analyze. Why do they need it? What memory does it bring them back to? So there's a couple of things that I've dissected in my life. Someone I really care about loved to eat meat, sugar, and dairy, and their body was hurting them. And the doctor said, when are you gonna stop eating these things? And he said, when I die. And that hurt me, but then I just had to think about that human and say, okay, what caused him to get here? And I realized, oh yeah, he lost his mom when he was young, and she cooked meat, dairy, and sugar for him. This is love. Then I don't push. Makes tiny changes, right? So what is it about Charmin toilet paper? What is it about plastic bags that is it convenience? Is it, what is it? Is it that they're so attached to their very fast lifestyle that the plastic bag needs to go in the trash? Are they really into cleanliness? But help them see that and help them understand that you need a clean earth for 7 generations ahead or infinite amounts of generations ahead, right? So there's a discussion, and if they refuse to discuss, I have no idea. Yeah. Please.
For me, this is feel-good fixing.
Yes.
The real problem is probably a lot more complex as those disposing waste
Yes.
as opposed to recycling it.
Right.
How do we work on that?
Right. So I think that when it comes to waste management, what we need to do is massive. So we need to incentivize using post-consumer materials. So when you go to, in September, when school supplies, school starts all over the nation and school supplies go up for sale, you can buy a notebook with, I just chopped down these trees notebook paper, and it's, I don't know how much it is now, 89 cents or something. And one made out of recycled paper is $1.19. So why is that? It's the same with our energy, and it's the same with our recycling materials. So it costs more to recycle than it costs to extract. Welcome to policy. So we need to care enough to write our legislators and push this issue and support environmental groups. And quite honestly, with the policymakers we have, both in the state and in the country, that's a tough issue because we need to link it to economy. We need to link it to these things. And I think about this all the time, that how do you convince someone, right? So I run the Freshwater Collaborative of Wisconsin, and somebody recently said to me, well, you just know so much about water, that's why it's hard to talk to you. And I said, or it's hard to convince the legislators because you're talking above their head or something like that. And I said, but everybody wakes up and drinks water. Everybody takes a shower or bath or uses a toilet. There's not one exception. And so we need clean water because we need to use it. If you can't understand the worth of water for being water, or soil for being an earth, well then I can't go there with you. But if you can understand that you use it, I don't know how to convince people. So so I analyze this and I dissect this all the time. Step 1 is awareness. Step 2 is action, and step 3 is seeing our impact through our action. And the gap between step 1 and step 2 can be small, but the gap between 2 and 3 is very big. We saw when COVID hit, we saw that when planes stopped, air quality increased very, very, very quickly. So we can have an impact if we all take action together. So it is pie in the sky, it is hopeful, but I don't know, in my experience, how else to do this but through inspiring people all around, right? If I go to a coffee shop and somebody offers me a cup, I say, thank you so much, I'm actually trying to live a plastic-free life, but thank you for trying to serve me. And I appreciate that, but here's what I do. And then I kind of turn around and I say, did anyone here bring a cup? Yay, go team, we're in this together. And hopefully they go to work and say, oh, I work at SC Johnson. We produce a lot of plastic. What can we do? And I've talked to SC Johnson, and they're recycling right now, right? If you buy, 4 beers at the Brewers Stadium, then they'll make 1 Scrubby Bubble bottle. Okay, then what happens to that Scrubby Bubble bottle? So how do we, but it's all incremental steps. We can't jump off the cliff. We're not ready. Just so you know, when I started working at USAID, there was, I don't know what kind of regulation, but we weren't allowed, I was an environmental advisor, and we weren't allowed to use the words climate change. Climate change. And so we found ways, right? We found ways to work around these things and say, it has a lot to do with children. So usually the other impact that that's all right. So the other thing that I try to do with this is you make individual change, you impact policy change, and the biggest thing you can do is talk with kids. So the very first Earth Day I ever experienced, I was in kindergarten. And I came home, I learned what I learned, I screen printed a t-shirt that I still have. And I came home to my dad, who would have been about 35 years old at the time, and I looked up at him and said, why do we throw our food waste in a landfill? He said, I didn't know we throw our food waste in a landfill. I've never thought of it. And he said, what should we do? And I said, compost. And we still compost today. So my dad has impacted other people in composting. I have. His company composts. It's the only change I know how to make is this way. This, ourselves, out, out, out. Yeah, you had something.
Yeah, so I go in the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
And ask me, paper or plastic?
Yeah.
I assume paper is still better.
No, bring your own.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, just bring your own. Yeah, just bring your own.
But we use the bags and we take them to the food pantry and we recycle them there for
Okay, so then, so the plastic, so yes, bring your own is the best. If you have to, take paper and reuse it somehow, or yes, recycle it. I just put my recycle things in it if I have a paper bag around, or I wrap gifts wrap gifts in paper bags. I don't buy wrapping paper because it's got plastic lining on the top often. So but the plastic bags you get at the food store, they're produced, I forgot the data because it's so insane. It's like 1 billion a second or something. I mean, it doesn't even make sense that how many are produced, and they're not actually recycled. So we take them to the recycling center. I think 1% of plastic bags get recycled, and so just don't take them. Don't take them, don't use them, no. We need to stop manufacturing them. We have enough. And when you think about at home, I started using them to pick up dog poop, but then I feel really bad about it because I know that dog poop's never going to decompose. Yeah, the plastic bags are a nightmare. They clog water systems all over the world. They go into trees. Yeah, please, no plastic bags. Okay. I use, there's 2 things. There's 3 things. One, I don't know if this is controversial. I have a pooper scooper. So I either bring it inside and flush it. That's one. I have a compost. I did an experiment a couple years ago to compost it. So I made with wood chips in my backyard. And then the third is I use those biodegradable corn bags. But I know that I'm putting it in a landfill where there's not air. And so there's anaerobic bacteria that move much slower than aerobic bacteria. So it actually won't compost in there. And Compost Crusaders is a wonderful organization in Milwaukee, but they won't take dog poop yet. They'll take bones. I think they won't take raw bones, but they'll take bones. They'll take many other things. They'll take PLA, which is the biodegradable plastic, but they won't take dog poop. So, yeah, great question. Yeah.
Just to kind of add on to that, MMSD does recommend
Great.
to flush it because then it's treated with bacteria and such.
Super. Yeah.
What did you do with all your wrapping paper?
Oh, I used it. Yeah. I used it and now I don't buy it. Yeah.
Because I usually, even, and I'm pretty old, I was reusing wrapping paper
Yes.
over and over and over
Yes.
again, and then I just recycle it. And that's not how you do it.
It depends on the paper. I'd have to see it, but a lot of shiny wrapping papers are not recyclable.
What do you do with it?
Yeah, landfill. Yeah. Yeah, we have to be okay with landfills too. So that's the other piece of this, right? Is it's just, what I'm trying to describe is living eyes wide open. We have landfills, we have recycling cans and metal, we have recycling plastic, which doesn't actually get done. We have recycling glass, which sometimes gets done. Okay, if I move in this world, that is a reality. So that means I will make choices accordingly. I trust that the landfill will work. I have to. I live in society. Does it? If you live next to a landfill, you see lots of waste flying around. So that's where I'm coming from, right? Yeah.
Two things.
Okay. Oops.
What I've also done with old wrapping paper is I make paper.
Yes.
And I get it to
There you go.
and then I remake paper.
There you go.
And I just use it that way. Second thing, there's a program that I just started watching last night on Netflix. It's called Tales of Light.
Mm.
And the first program I watched was on Bangladesh, and the children there spend their usually mornings going to landfills.
Yeah.
Walking the railroads and the streets and everything, and collecting everything they can that could possibly be recyclable.
Yeah.
And that's
Selling
how
it.
they're redoing they're mining, what you said.
They're mining landfills. Yes. Yeah. It's really interesting. There's so many dump sites around the globe that are quite famous for that, and it's a very dirty job. But I have a colleague who is a materials engineer, and she worked in Argentina with a dump site and she's a materials engineer, so she does a lot with presses, and she recognized that people were collecting plastic bags and cardboard and would wet the cardboard and layer them, and then had a heated press. She created tiles. So it would be like this wooden tile would be a plastic tile, and then the people, instead of selling the plastic bags or the cardboard, they could sell tiles to be made into beds, floors, counters, tables, chairs, and it made that much more money. If I love talking international projects, it's a big deal, but yeah, it's very overwhelming. There's a lot going on. Yes, sir.
Yeah, speaking of international projects, most of the hotels and defense bases, the number one consumer of the food is
I missed the
garbage bucket is the number
sure.
one consumer.
So
and
food waste.
for defense bases, if the water rises, they're going to have to, San Diego has 7 of them right there right now.
Oh.
They'll have to move all 7 of them
Yeah.
and abandon all of that.
What's the question?
How is it possible to have a positive out of this, a win-win?
Sure. So it's 2 separate questions, right? Food waste is one, and then rising water levels. Yeah. So let me touch on rising water levels first. The Department of Defense has one of the largest budgets in our national government. They, of all people, are so concerned about climate change, more than most other groups in the government. Yeah. So if climate change reaches the heights that it is promised to reach, we will have bases all over the globe that will be directly impacted by water rising temperatures. Right. Imagine soldiers in all of their outfitting in 150 degree Fahrenheit heat, they could die, right? So yeah, the Department of Defense, it's so interesting. So the way I got to DC was I became a AAAS fellow. I don't know if anyone's heard of Science Magazine, but this is put out by the American Association for the Advancement of Science, AAAS, okay. And the way that it's like a hiring mechanism, they told us that this is the way they infiltrate the US government with scientists. I'll take it. So they hire about 175 of us every year, and then it's a 2-year placement, and it's really interesting. And when you go through the job interviews, I think I interviewed at 13 places. The State Department, the Department of Defense, USAID, the Forest Service, NSF, I'm trying to think of who else, but National Science Foundation, etc. Some people interviewed at NASA. That would have been awesome, but I don't have the background. They don't want an environmentalist, go figure. So anyway, I had a job interview with the Department of Defense, and the job was awesome. It was creating microgrids at bases around the US, I think 82 bases. And I said, why do you want solar microgrids? And they said, because, or energy microgrids, mostly solar, but it could have been other things too. They said, because if we are bombed right now, multiple bases will go out, and whoever our enemy is, they will then hold power over us. So if we microgrid everything, they'll bomb one and just one building will go out, and it won't impact even the whole base. We care about this, Marissa. And it was an environmental action that was for national security. Fascinating. I'd never considered this. I was so close to taking that job, and I told him, I cannot wake up and think about enemies or bombs every day. And he said, that's too bad, we want you at this table. And I said, I have to think about peace or I won't wake up. And he said, I understand. So, but it was fascinating, right? So I actually think the answer is within them. I would bet that they're already working on it. And it probably looks like, right now, big walls to hold the water back. And over time, it has to do more with energy production and the biggest influencers. Thanks. Second thing, Thailand hotels, we got them to implement composting. So most of their food goes into food waste composting, and then they were able to give it, I don't think they sold it, but they might have, to pig farms in the area. So pigs will eat anything, especially hotel food waste. And then it was really sweet. Some of the pigs got hurt because there were toothpicks and bamboo toothpicks in there. So at every compost bin, there was an adorable picture of a pig crying, and it said, toothpick, no. And so everybody knew, whatever you're going to compost, get the toothpicks out. So again, moved on the heart piece, right? Like, don't hurt the pig, the baby pig, even though the pig's going to become food. So yeah, it was sweet. Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah. So we're at time right now. How does everybody feel? Anybody have any other pressing questions? Otherwise, we wrap up. Yeah.
I noticed,
Yeah.
I noticed you have a roll of toilet paper.
Oh, we totally do.
Yeah, what, for recycling are you talking about?
So this is my bathroom gear. This is my deodorant too, which is hilarious. Alum rock, weird. Okay, anyway, so this toilet paper comes with 0 plastic. So it comes in a cardboard box. Everything is individually wrapped in paper, and the paper itself is recycled paper. So it's the most sustainable paper. It's a funny company. Who Gives a Crap is what it's called. And you can go on whogivesacrap.org and get your toilet paper. It is much more expensive than regular toilet paper. So that's a shame. I've also been, let me think. There's very uncomfortable toilet paper, let's call it. It's like single ply, recycled something, and it comes in every store wrapped in paper. That's also more sustainable. But as I was going through the hotels, the toilet paper comes in one big bag, and I'm like, that's okay, but if we're really trying to go plastic free, don't do it that way. Can you call the company and ask them to ship toilet paper in a cardboard box? And somebody tried, and the company said, what about moisture? This is Thailand. And I said, okay, well, that's where we're at. But the staff toilet paper in those big rolls, they came wrapped in paper, 0 plastic. So it's really interesting, yeah.
I have a question. So what if you want to start to go plastic free in your home, and what if your husband recently bought a economy size pack of dental floss, which is like my nemesis. I hate dental floss.
It's got PFAS in it.
But I want to floss my teeth, and so I want to move towards silk. What do I do with the 12 spools use it, throw it away, and then move to
and use. There's a couple of things. You actually could use it more than once if you wanted to. Understand it's made out of polyester, so that's like a clothing thread. So that's a plastic. And then, depending on what kind you bought, there might be PFAS in it. Glide has PFAS in it.
It's Glide.
Okay, because it's comfortable. It's nice. It doesn't hurt. So raise awareness in your family that that's the last time we're going to do this. And then look into silk and maybe like test it and see, do you like this, do you not? So there's 3 sustainable floss options on the market. Silk is silk, right? They take probably 5 cocoons to make this one strand, because I did work, my PhD is on wastewater treatment in India, and it's on silk wastewater. Fun. Anyway, so this is probably 12 cocoons, and then it's covered in wax. And you can also buy, so you do kill 12, what are they called? Caterpillars, silkworms, yes, thank you, sorry. So they're dead, right? Because of me, got it. So it's not vegan. The vegan options are bamboo, that and cornstarch floss. Those are PLA, they're polylactic acid, and they are compostable at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which my compost bin will not work. It requires industrial composting, which isn't as available. So I went with the non-vegan version. So that's how those decisions were made. But that's what we all have to decide, what's best. If you're vegan and that really matters to you and you love silkworms, my goodness, don't buy this. That kind of thing. But great question.
Thank you. So at this time, we are at time. Dr. Jablonski will be here for a bit if you have any questions. A couple of quick announcements. As Amy mentioned, this is our first in-person master chat in 2.5 years. So thank you all. We're obviously in a new space, which we'll be in for at least this first semester, trying some new things out technologically so that our friends who are not here in Milwaukee or are not comfortable coming to in-person events yet can join us via live stream. You also notice that we don't have paper surveys. You will all receive an email tomorrow that will have a very quick survey. You can share your thoughts on today's speech as well as ideas for future talks. But we are back every other month, so keep an eye out in your email. Join us here on campus or virtually. And Our next one is actually a all virtual October 5th. It's a special. Our speaker is out in Boston, and it's going to be an awesome sort of kind of another conversation about this topic, but from an energy perspective, and moving towards renewable and green energy and what that means from a market perspective and that sort of thing. So highly recommend that. There's flyers on the table. The kit flyers are also on the table if you didn't receive one on your way in. So,
and then I'm also going to put these sticky notes and markers on the table. If you wouldn't mind writing down your commitment, and we're going to stick it on the wall and take a photo. So that'll be fun. And one last thing, can I take a selfie with you guys? It's going on social media, everybody.
oh, kind of like Ellen at the Oscars.
Totally, except us.
Right.
Hey, okay, how can we get everybody? Maybe like this. Here's the whole clan. Woo! Go team! There, I took a few. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.